Welcome to TBR Live, interesting conversation with interesting people. This is part 2 with Mr. Teddy Lewis. We're not going to waste no time. Let's get to it.
Decided to go. Don't know. I haven't got to that point, man. I made a complete transition. Decided I'm gonna go to law school and practice entertainment law. So got into UT Knoxville College of Law by the skin of my teeth, and I'd roll up on campus, and then by that time, I was going through I started reading. It's funny when you look back on your life. But I was read the autobiography of Malcolm X. So, and I think, let's see, had the movie come out? I forget what year Spike Lee did the Malcolm X movie. I don't know, because this was '89, so I don't know if that came out yet. I don't think. But anyway, I was into to Malcolm X. So I'd had the hat on with the X, roll up, UT, College of Law, again in my Sunbird. How you like me now, Kumo D? How you like me now? I'm rolling up. And back then, man, I was into, driving gloves. I had, driving gloves that match, I was into leather jackets. I was wearing contacts. I was in, still in the shades. I was cool, ice. I'm in law school. So I'm, again, head just, and I'm like, y'all don't know me. I'm the man. I'm Ted Lewis Jr. What's up? Hello. Bow down to me. I'm like, I'm the man. This law school, what? What I gotta do? How long, how many years? Okay, 3 years? All right, okay. Let's roll. Man, kids were like, who is this? I'm walking to class, leather coat on, driving gloves, Malcolm X hat on. And it's like, why did I do just saying, hey, look at me. And there was only 16 blacks in that freshman class, that first year class. And here I was just saying, I'm black, look at me. I went to Tennessee State, I'm HBCU product. And I'm just expressing myself in all my gloriness. And man, I got smacked down, with the workload. A B in undergrad is a C in law school, which means a C in undergrad is a D in law school. Man, I got smacked down, just run over. And I was calling my mama in tears. Mama, I want to come home. Boy, buck up. You got And man, ended up after the first semester, I got put on probation. In the second semester, man, I had an instructor. It was civil procedure 2. I passed Civil Pro 1 for a semester, but I had this one instructor, and I'm not gonna say I still know his name, but since I'm not going. But man, you talk about he got me. I came in one day because in law school, it's true what you hear. They use the class attendance, and they call to have you speak, answer questions. They go down the alphabetical order, and then once they get to the end, they just go back to the top. So every day that was the process. So that meant everybody had a chance to get grilled by the instructor, and it was just like you see in the movies. It was one of them auditorium classrooms, and you had to be on time. If you walked in late, you got something. And one day, I was not late, but I was the last one to walk in with my leather on, driving gloves, Malcolm X hat on. I'm like, and it's just it's only a few of us. And I met my good friend, my man Brian J. Quarles he's from Memphis. And Brian, that's my dog. He ended up being my best man in my wedding, just from that 1 year of knowing him. But we lived in the same complex, but we became we rolled tight. had all the same classes, and Brian be like, you know, yo T, you need to, you know, it was okay for us to do what we did amongst ourselves, but in that environment, you know, we had to conform. So this instructor was, he singled me out. I was like, okay, I'm gonna break him down. And I came in class, and you know, in law school, man, you know, your assignments, you got to read, you know, 200 pages. You got to read these cases. You know, 200 pages was short, and so that's just, you know, one class. But you know, that would be I did the most reading. You know, you didn't go to bed because you got to recite. You got to look at these cases and read up, study this case law and all this stuff. And sometimes you were able to read all of it. And sometimes you just couldn't. You didn't. You know, it was almost like it was impossible. My man, the instructor, I sat down, and he immediately went to me first. Oh, Mr. Lewis, what is I think it was something about the holding. What was the holding of this case? You know, what was the decision of? You know, what was the reasoning? And I was of the mindset that, okay, all right, you know, you can only recite what you know. I was not good at improvisation unless I'm in front of a camera. I can improv and act out a scene, but I'm about book knowledge. So I'm like, okay. So I knew I had read some of it. I'm like, well, I think and he was like, why you hesitating? Class was quiet, and it was about, what, 100, maybe 100 folk in the class. And you could have heard a pin drop. And I was on the end, and I was sweating, you know, and I don't know if I might have still have my little jacket on, so I was really sweating because I still had all this left on, like I'm fighting the power. And he came up the aisle, and he was like, and I think I was like, man, I don't know. Go to somebody else. I said, no. You're supposed to know. Blah, 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 blah. He grilled me for about 20 minutes. And I started saying, you know, like, man, you know, what the hell, leave me alone. You know, why are you bothering me? And he came up, and I'm trying to scan through, and of course the law books, you know, it's like, the text is like, that's probably why I got progressive lenses now, because, you know, you need a magnifying glass to read. I'm trying to scan. That man came up, slammed his hand down on my book. Stop looking it up. I'm like, but I told you I don't know, so I gotta look it up. And he fried me. He might as well, man, just strip me butt naked and had me run around the classroom. That's how humiliated I felt. And after the class, you know, all the other guys, oh, wow, Ted, hey, they called me, you know, I was Ted. You know, no, it's Teddy, but okay, because they, you know, hey, Ted, hey, guy. And they were like, wow, Ted, geez, man, he's got your number. I'm like, man, leave me alone. You know, step away from me. Don't, you know, as I'm walking, I'm putting my, you know, I'm, you know, steam coming out my ears. And that man, for about a week and a half, no matter what time I came to class, he hit me first. I'm talking for at least, it was close to 2 weeks. And so it got to the point I was like, no, he ain't get me, you get me once, all right, but 2 times, oh, hell no, that ain't gonna happen. So I was focused on his class, but I was like a madman. I said, no. And I thought dude was cool at first, because he had a little sense of humor. It was like, oh, yeah, he was really cool. But the instructor I had for Civil Pro 1 was a guy from like South Carolina that looked like he was a plantation owner. I mean, and had that Southern slang, and you would have thought he's the worst instructor to have at UT Knoxville. But he was pretty cool. So this dude, I was like, okay, we can do this. That man hit me up, man, for about 2 weeks. We got down to the final exam was open book. I could have rolled the whole library up in there. And the exams in law school, you know, you get you have to literally write out your justification of the case law, the ruling of all the case law. And so you would be given a scenario, then you have to give almost like your ruling. But you had to learn your thinking. You had to think as the instructor would think. You could know the case, you could know the law all day and could recite the law. But if your thinking, your thought process did not follow the thought process of the instructor, then you ain't cut it. So I had all my notes, all my books to look up, man, and thought I did pretty good. My man flunked me, and as a result, and I went back to him, I challenged it, and he just was like, no, man, you failed. Ha ha ha, like, what you gonna do about it? Man, you talk about, this is Ted Lewis Jr. Flunk, yo, man, I'm, Dean's List, Student of the Year at Jolton, drum major, head drum major at Whites Creek. What? I'm Ted Lewis Jr. I don't flunk. Never flunked. And as a result, I had to, I was already on probation. So they were like, in order for you to come back into your second year, you must, you're going to have to pretty much come and speak with the committee to pretty much petition to get back in school. And I had to roll back. That was in I think it was July was my scheduled date to have my meeting, and I went up to Knoxville, man, and I had written this, had went deep on them, had my petition, as to why I should be readmitted. And on the committee, it was, some of the deans, and then it was, you had the Black Law Students Association, which was called BALSA. And the president was one of my homegirls, because I knew a lot of people from even from Whites Creek, from Nashville, they were in that class, and at UT Law School at the time. And I didn't get, out of all the first years that I was with, man, I had a few that were like, Teddy, man, it'll be all right. But the one person that stood by my side through that whole ordeal was my man Brian J. And he called me TL, and I called him Brian J. But he stuck by me and encouraged me. And I gave my spiel, made my presentation as to why, and they had me. It's okay. We're gonna, give us about an hour or so to convene, to discuss, and we'll let you know what our ruling is. And the dean, and I forget what dean it was, called me in his office, and I sat down. He said, and I'll never forget. He said, Mr. Lewis, we don't think you have what it takes to continue here at the University of Tennessee College of Law. And I was like, all right. And from that point on, I said to myself, I will never give anybody the opportunity to tell me what I can and cannot do. Because the mistake I made was taking for granted that I was going to succeed, but was not necessarily willing to do all that I needed to do, because I was so used to succeeding. And so that was my first moment in time where I knew that, the man upstairs was like, Teddy, you think you all that? Let me see how you handle this.